Hi, this is Diana, and today I'm going to be doing the, it's a follow-up on the Pagoda cartridge. And what I'm going to be doing, someone had asked for a trifold card. So I'm going to show you the papers I'm starting with, and this is all I'll be using. I'll be using a 12 by 12 of AC cardstock, American cardstock. This is a 12 by 12. I've already cut off this piece, and this is from the Asian Stack Die Cuts with a View. I'm also using from Paper Tray Ink Lavender Moon, which I'm using one sheet of 8.5 by 11, and that goes really nicely with the colors in the Die Cuts with a View stack. And then I'm also using a 12 by 12 of Coordinations, and I buy these in stacks also, something like 60 sheets or 80 sheets I think this was. I do not know what color it is, so it doesn't say, there's no number on it or anything, but it also worked really well with the blues that are in the Asian or Far East stack from Die Cuts with a View. So the first thing I'm going to do, and I'll set these here for now, I'm going to take this will be the base of my card, the 12 by 12, and as you can see, what I've done here is I've cut this down to, what was this? Yeah, 8.5 by 12. This works real well for doing the trifold card, because if you get any larger, which I've found in doing, I did one that was taller than 8.5, it gets kind of caught up in my cutter, my paper trimmer. Now, I have about 6 trimmers. I think I'll do a video on all the trimmers and what I use them for, but I really like this Fiskars. I've had this one for years, and I think it's very true to squaring a card. I messed up about 3 sheets of paper using one of my trimmers, and it's great for little trims, but for getting perfect cuts, it's not all that great. So the first thing I'm going to do, though, before I do the cutting, is I'm going to take my Martha Stewart scoreboard. I'm not sure what they call it, but scoreboard. Anyway, I'm going to take the, actually before I do that, I'm going to trim the paper to 8.5. So I'm going to keep it at 8.5 by 12. Now I'm noticing with this AC cardstock, one side is not quite 12 inches long. It's about 12 and 15, 16. So I'm going to cut it on the one where it is 12. If you can see this, I want the 12 to go across here. So the one that isn't 12, I'm going to trim off to 8.5 by 11. Because having this 12 is very important to making the card work right. Because with a trifold, I want this even, all three lengths of the card even. So I'm going to be scoring this at 4 inches and at the 8-inch side. Or you can do it to even be more precise. I don't know if you can see this. Here's the 4. I'm going to go down. And now the 8 is here. And I'm just going to flip it around and see if it's going to be true on this side. pretty true. So, but I'm actually going to put it at the 4 here, which would also be the 8 here. So my next step now is to, I'm not going to fold it yet, but I'm going to make a line from here to the middle here. And because this is 8 1/2, I'm going to want to go 4 1/4. I want to go exactly halfway up here. And you can use whatever you have to make that line. Sorry. I want to go 4 1/4 here, so I'm going to mark this. I marked it at 4 1/4. I'm going to take this line to this fold, and I'm going to draw a line there. You don't have to draw a line there. You can just go right ahead and cut, which is what I'm going to do. So I'm going to put the paper in my paper trimmer, and I'm going from here to here. I don't know if you can see that. I went a little further, but then I'll make my fold. I've seen people use this as an accent. I'm not real crazy about cutting off that corner. I like it to be sharp. So I'm going to use the one I cut earlier, which has the perfect cut there. If you draw the line, you can actually cut it with scissors if you like, but so there's the trifold card, and now from this point on is where you'll decorate. So let me just move this. And now I'll show you what I'm going to do. And this is the design, the thought process. Here's the one I don't want. Okay, here's the design process I went through. Now I want to go from light to dark. Now this is how my paper was. I want these light butterflies here. And because, or I could go from dark to light. I think I will. So what I'm going to do here to make this portion of my card, and I do want a bit of a border right here. I'm going to bring you guys in a little closer here. I want a border here. So I mean, not a border, but I don't want it as the same distance all the way around. So what I'm going to do is mark it right about here and here. So the next thing I do is I just take my paper and I match them up evenly, and then I can draw my line. So that's where I'll want to cut it, right there. You know what? I don't really want to cut it there. I don't want to cut the butterfly in half. I want that butterfly on there. So I think what I'll do is I will just take that back. I will draw that line there, and I'll erase this one. I drew that fairly light. Okay. Right, so now I'm going to have that butterfly there, and I'll cut the tree. So what I'll cut here, I don't do a lot of measuring. I used to, but I don't really need to. Now I could use this perfectly right there, but the butterflies would be upside down. So I think I'm going to, I really like those butterflies there. I'm going to stick with this idea. Here's where I'll use my Fiskar, my other little mat cutter. Now this one I don't think is squared where it gives you a perfect, I'm going to pull you out a little more so now you can see. But I'm right on that line, so, and then I want to trim this off. That's where I'm thinking that's not really a square, a true square on this mat cutter. There we go. So now that's how I will be using this portion of this part of the trifold card.